Part 1 of Acres of Diamonds. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Acres of Diamonds by Russell H. Conwell, Part 1. When going down the Tigris and Euphrates River many years ago, with my party of English travelers, I found myself under the direction of an old Arab guide whom we hired up at Baghdad. And I have often thought how that guide resembled our barbers in certain mental characteristics. He thought that it was not only his duty to guide us down those rivers and do what he was paid for doing, but also to entertain us with stories, curious and weird, ancient and modern, strange and familiar. Many of them I have forgotten, and I am glad that I have, but there is one I shall never forget. The old guide was leading my camel by its halter along the banks of those ancient rivers, and he told me story after story until I grew weary of his storytelling and ceased to listen. I have never been irritated with that guide when he lost his temper, as I ceased listening, but I remember that he took off his Turkish cap and swung it in a circle to get my attention. I could see it through the corner of my eye, but I determined not to look straight at him for fear he would tell another story. But although I am not a woman, I did finally look, and as soon as I did, he went right into another story. Said he, "I will tell you a story now which I reserve for my particular friends." When he emphasized the words particular friends, I listened. I have ever been glad I did. I really feel devoutly thankful that there are 1,674 young men who have been carried through college by this lecture, who are also glad that I did listen. The old guide told me that there once lived not far from the river Indus an ancient Persian by the name of Ali Hafed. He said that Ali Hafed owned a very large farm, that he had orchards, grain fields, and gardens, that he had money of interest, and was a wealthy and contented man. He was contented because he was wealthy, and wealthy because he was contented. One day there visited that old Persian farmer one of those ancient Buddhist priests, one of the wise men of the East. He sat down by the fire and told the old farmer how this world of ours was made. He said that the world was once a mere bank of fog, and that the Almighty thrust his finger into the bank of fog and began slowly to move his finger around, increasing the speed until at last he whirled this bank of fog into a solid ball of fire. Then it went rolling through the universe, burning its way through other banks of fogs and condensed the moisture without it, until it fell in fields of rain upon its hot surface and cooled the outward crust. Then the internal fires bursting outward through the crust throughout the mountains and hills, the valleys, the plains, and prairies of this wonderful world of ours. It was internal melting mass bursting down cool very less quickly copper, less quickly said the old priest, "The diamond is a continuous rock of sun." Now that is literally scientific. The diamond is an actual deposit of carbon from the sun. The old priest told Ali Hafed that if he had one diamond the size of his thumb to purchase the country, and if he had a mine of diamonds, he could place his children upon the thrones through the influence of their great wealth. Ali Hafed heard all about diamonds, how much they were worth, and went to his bed that night a poor man. He had not lost everything, but he was poor because he was discontented, and discontented because he feared he was poor. He said, "I want a mine of diamonds." And he lay up. Early in the morning, he sought out the priest, and felt by experience that the priest was very cross and looking for him. And when he shook that old priest out of his trance, Ali Hafed said to him, "Will you tell me where I can find diamonds?" "Diamonds? What do you want with diamonds?" "Why, I want to be honest and rich." "Well then, go along and find them. That is all you have don't believe there is any such river. Oh yes, there are plenty of them. All you have to do is go and find them. And then you have them, said Halihafed. I will go. So he sold his farm, collected his money, left his family in charge of a neighbor, and away he went in search of diamonds. He began his search very promptly, to my mind, in the mountains of the moon. Afterwards, he came around into Palestine, then wandered on into Europe. And at last, when his money was all spent and he was in rags, wretchedness, and poverty, he stood on the shore of that bay of Barcelona in Spain, when a great tidal wave came rolling between the pillars of Hercules, and the poor, afflicted, suffering, dying man could not resist the awful temptation to cast himself into the incoming tide, and he sank beneath its foaming crest, never to rise in its life. When that old guide had told me that awful sad story, he stopped the camp I was riding, and went back towards the land that was coming up. When I had the opportunity to use all of this story on his call, I would never say to myself, why did he reserve that story for his children? There seemed to be no beginning, no middle, and no end to it. That was the first story I had ever heard told in my life, and it would be the first one I ever read in which the hero was killed in the first chapter. I had but one chapter of the story. When the guide came back and took up the halter of my camel, he went right ahead with the story into the second chapter, just as though there had been no break. The man who purchased Halihafed's farm one day led his camel into the garden to drink, and as that camel put its nose into the shallow water of Halihafed's successor, noticed a curious flash of light in the white sands. He pulled out a black stone, having an eye of light reflecting all of his years of labor. He took the pebble into the house and put it on the table, which caused the central fire to burn out. 2 days later, the same old priest came in to visit Halihafed's successor. And the moment he opened the door and went in, he saw that flash of light on the mantle, and he rushed up to it and shouted, "There is a diamond. Has Halihafed returned?" Oh no, Halihafed has not returned. And that is not a diamond. That is nothing but a stone we found right here in our own garden. But, said the priest, I tell you, I know a diamond when I see it. I know positively that is a diamond. Then together they rushed out into that old garden and stirred up the white sands with their fingers. And lo, there came up other more beautiful and valuable gems than the first. Thus said the guide to us, and friends, it is historically true, was discovered the diamond mine Galconia, the most magnificent diamond mine of all in the history of mankind, excelling the Kimberley itself, Kohinoor, and the Orlog of the crown jewels of England and Russia. The largest on earth came from that mine. When that old Arab guide told me the second chapter of the story, he then took off his Turkish cap and swung it around in the air again to get my attention to the wall. Those Arab guides have morals to their stories, although they are not always moral. As he swung his hat, he said, certain young man then traveling down the Tigris River that might be better at home in America. I did not tell him I could see that, but I told him his story reminded me. of real gold that were ever discovered in California. The man who had owned that ranch wanted gold, and he could have secured it for the mere taking. Indeed, $38 million has been taken out of that very few acres since then. About 8 years ago, I delivered this lecture in a city that stands on that farm, and they told me that a one-third owner for years and years had been getting $120,000 in gold every 15 minutes, sleeping or waking without taxation. You and I would enjoy an income like that if we didn't have to pay an income tax. But a better illustration, really, than that occurred here in our own Pennsylvania. If there is anything I enjoy above another on the platform, it is to get one of these German audiences in Pennsylvania. And I enjoy it tonight. There was a man living in Pennsylvania, not unlike some Pennsylvanians you have seen who own a farm, and he did with that farm just what I should do with a farm if I owned one in Pennsylvania. He sold it, but before he sold it, he decided to sell it. No reference whatever to a man seeking a divorce. When he wrote to his cousin for employment, his cousin replied, "I cannot engage you in business because you know nothing about the oil business." Well then, the farmer said, "I will know." And with most conservative he sat himself to the study of the whole subject. He began a way back to the celebration of God's creation and the world was covered. Said in his letter to his cousin, "I understand the oil business." The cousin answered, "All right, come on." So he sold his farm, according to the county record, for $833, even money, no cents. He had scarcely gone from that place before the man who had purchased the spot went out to arrange for the watering of the cattle. He found the previous owner had gone out years before and put a plank across the brook back of the barn, edgewise, into the surface of the water just a few inches. The purpose of the plank, at that sharp angle across the brook, was to throw over to the other bank a dreadful-looking scum, through which the cattle would not put their noses. But with that plank there to throw it all over to one side, the cattle would drink the water. And thus the man who had gone to Canada had himself been damming back for 23 years and flooded coal water, which the state geologist of Pennsylvania declared to us 10 years later was even then worth $100 million to our state. And 4 years ago, our geologist declared the discovery to be worth to our state $1,000 million. The man who owned that such an adept as a mining engineer that he was employed by the authorities of the university to train students who were behind in their classes. During his senior year, he earned $15 a week for doing that work. When he graduated, they raised his pay to about it, as he was an only son and she was a widow. Of course, he had his way, they always do. They sold out in Massachusetts, and instead of going to California, they went to Wisconsin, where he went into the employ of the Superior Copper Mining Company at $15 a week again, but with the proviso in his contract that he should have an interest in any mines he should discover for the company. I don't believe he ever discovered a mine, and if I am looking in the face of any stockholder of that copper company, you wish he had discovered something. I have friends who are not here because they could not afford a ticket, who have stock in that company at the time this young man was employed there. This young man went out there, and I have not heard a word from him. I don't know what became of him. I don't know whether he found any mines or not, but I do not believe he ever did. But I do know the other end of the road. He had scarcely gotten out of the old homestead before the succeeding owner went out professor of mines, mining, and mineralogy, knew so much about the subject that he would not work for $45 a week when he sold that homestead in Massachusetts. Out there by his fireside tonight with his friends gathered around him, and he is saying to them something like, "Do you know that man Conwell who lives in Philadelphia? Oh yes, I have heard of him. Do you know that man Jones who lives in Philadelphia? Yes, I have heard of him too." And then he begins to laugh and shakes his sides and says to his friends, "Well, they have done just the same thing I did precisely." And that spoils the whole joke, for you and I have done the same thing he did. And while we sit here and laugh at him, he has a better right to sit out there and laugh at us. I know I have made the same mistake, but of course, that does not make any difference because we don't expect the same man to preach and practice too. As I come here tonight, I look around this audience and I have seen again, but through these 50 years, I have continually seen men that are making precisely that same mistake. I often wish I could see the younger filled tonight with our high school scholars and our grammar school scholars that I could have them to talk to. All I would have preferred such an audience as that because they are the most susceptible, as they have not prejudice. They have not gotten several predecessors near the same He said geologist drill in Philadelphia will find some trace of a diamond mine yet down here. Oh friends, you cannot say that you are not over one of the greatest diamond mines in the world, for such a diamond as that only comes from the most profitable mines that are found on Earth. End of part 1.